Peace to all from Truth Over God. I'm here again with a installment of The Truth is in the Books of God. And I'd just like to have a little filler session here between the last broadcast and the next one we shall have. And I want to touch on some of the aspects we've spoken about and fill in some of the details that I think would benefit people. So we talked about faith last time and faith with God. How does one believe with God? What are the reasons one would believe? And there are many. So the person who believes has to find his own reason to believe that God exists. Having said that, how do you actually end up believing that God exists? And that's a question that a lot of people ask of those who believe that God actually exists. Because you can't see him, you can't really materially prove that God, the entity, exists. It's faith based. So the answer to that is quite simple. It's that God allows a soul to believe or does not allow a soul to believe. So if a soul believes, it is only with the will of God. No other input is required other than God's will for the soul to finally believe. So that is the last input, obviously. So what is required before that? People will say that, "Yeah, okay, I don't believe because God won't let me believe." That's absolutely true. There's no doubt that that statement is true. But the thing is, why is God not allowing a soul to believe? So that's therein lies the rub, as they say. So for a soul to believe, it has to want to believe. God ain't gonna let you believe just because he feels like letting you believe without you being worthy of faith. So the soul has to strive to believe, and God decides for every soul. And there are certain souls that were brought into this earth that were preordained to be of faith. I can name three clearly: Moses, John, who is called Yahya in the Quran, and Jesus. They were preordained. They had no choice. They were going to have faith. Now, why is that? You can argue with God, and I can argue with God, but He will tell us that day why that was and for what reason He did that. For all other souls, like all of us, we have to strive to be able to believe that God exists. So, who needs to strive how much depends on the depth of that soul, the extent or the amplitude of that soul. So God will try that soul till she crosses a certain line. Once that line is crossed, God will let that soul believe. Now, that's not the end. After that, the soul can turn to rejection again, or doubt, or to make equals to God, which happens all the time. Most of mankind that believes ends up partnering with God or making equals, and that's not going to be forgiven by God. It's it's clearly explained in all the books of God, and the three books that I know for sure, and others that have been corrupted and lost, that if you make equals to God, you will not be forgiven no matter what. So you have to understand how faith starts, and it has to start from the soul. And when the soul crosses a border that God has put for each soul, then she believes. So having come to that, now a soul, what is a soul? A soul cannot be held. It has never been proven. It exists in the belief system, and everybody talks about soul, his soul, her soul. What is a soul? A soul is a female entity. It is female. Every soul in mankind is female. So you may be a woman and you have a female soul in your body, and you may be a man and you have a female soul in your body. The soul is always female. That's a revelation for most, I'm sure, but that's the truth. So it doesn't matter. You're a male on top of a female when you're in a male body in this world, and you're a female on top of a female soul. That's how it works. So that's creation of man, and the demons are similar, although I don't have all details or knowledge about the demons except that they're fire beings and they're like mankind. So everybody speaks about, oh, he's demonic, it's he's under the control of a demon or he's demonized. So it's all negative. Mostly demons are spoken of as negative. Now, my pushback to that is the truth from the book of God, which is the Quran and the Torah and the Bible, which are unfortunately been corrupted. So a demon and man, or demon kind and mankind, are the only creations that I am aware of that have the ability to reject God, that have the choice to disobey God or renege over God and his command. I don't know of any other creation that can do that. And that is the whole trial for us. We have the ability to push back God. He has given us that ability in this life, and that's the trial. The most fundamental trial is for us to believe or reject God, the existence of a creator, the all powerful, the almighty. So, there we have to understand that demons are in the same boat as us. And demons have the ability to submit to God, to believe, and men have the ability to submit to God or believe, or vice versa. When we look at that, we can try and understand what's going on in the unseen. And demons have been around way before mankind was created. And to follow up on earlier discussions, the Satan is a demon, and it's all about his pride. His pride was affected by God choosing Adam over him in the story of the Garden of Eden in the Bible and the story of our first creation in the Quran. And that we'll go into detail later. But for now, it's suffice to say that that is how Satan fell. And man cannot understand why God chooses one man or a few men to deliver his message every time. Why is it that only one man has it? Well, that's the way of God. He doesn't want to show his power openly. If he did, then everybody would submit. There would be no trial. I mean, if God shows up and shows himself and his ability, which he will towards the end, then everybody would believe. And then everybody will believe when he comes with his punishment or his signs or the hour, which is the end of the earth. When we look at that, what's happening today is that punishment getting closer and closer. So we have rejected the Torah, we have rejected the Bible, we have rejected the Quran, and so we have rejected Moses, and we have rejected Messiah Jesus, and we've rejected Muhammad, and we've thus rejected every messenger of God. So there has been no major punishment of God over mankind since Moses came and went. Yeah, there are punishments all the time, but they're minor. I mean, there's nothing serious going on with as far as the punishment of God is concerned. But what is coming is going to shake mankind to its core, and it'll be too late when that comes. So what is coming? It's going to be smoke. Like there was water flooding the earth with Noah, this time it will be smoke from the heaven. Smoke will come from the heaven, it will cover all of mankind, and then they will scream and shout for the help of God. And, God being God, he will actually take that punishment away a little. But these people will go back. Mankind will revert to the same stuff they've been doing all throughout the history. They will become same rejectors, same transgressors, same people making gods with God, making equals to God, and then the end will come, the hour when the earth, sun and moon and everything we know will change, will be destroyed, and then all the balance will set up in the end, and we'll talk about that later. So I just wanted to fill up that stuff here because I think it's necessary. And also the signs to that coming. The signs to the coming of the punishment is that the sons of Israel will be high in the earth and they will war in the earth. So who are the sons of Israel, first of all? They say the Jews are the sons of Israel. But who are actually the sons of Israel? So Jacob, as you know, is Israel. the son of Isaac, and his 12 sons, including Joseph, are the 12 tribes of Israel. From them came the 12 tribes, and they're all sons of Israel from their lineage. So today on the earth, all Christians and all Jews are basically the sons of Israel, and they are high in the earth. They are warring in the earth. They are creating strife in the earth, and God has written. In the Torah, it's written. In the Quran, it's written, and I'm sure in the Bible, it's written, or was written at least, that they will war and the punishment will come over them. Their destruction will come. So this is what they're bringing on upon themselves, the destruction of God. And there is no stopping to that. That's why the Jews, the Israelites, are so paranoid about the smallest threat that arises, because they know what's going to happen. And nothing will stop that, no matter what they do. Just like Pharaoh, he thought he could stop by killing all the sons of Israel. And guess what? Moses ended up in his household, the one who was going to bring him destruction, fundamentally. He grew up in his own household under his care. So God does whatever he wants, however he wants it. Nobody's going to stop that. But we have our choice to follow one path or the other. So that's what's going to happen with this punishment coming. There is no stopping to that today. It's going to come. The timeline, I'm not here to tell you when it's going to come, because that's not my job. My job is to warn you that it is coming and deliver the message that it is coming. And you better all be prepared in your places, whatever you believe, to accept that your fate will be decided when that happens. So after that, there are other signs that point towards the end. So there are three major signs that will come before the end of this earth that we live in. So one of them is the return of Jesus. Clearly, that's going to be one sign. The other is the splitting of the moon. The moon will split. How it will split, I can't tell you, but it will break. It will break up. So how it's going to break up, I don't know. When we see up one day and the moon is in two pieces at least or more, then we know the moon has split. And the third sign is the release of the Gog and Magog, which are referred to as the Yajuj Majuj in the Quran. These are the three clear signs that the hour is coming, the hour of the end of this earth and all on it. And then the resurrection after that, and day of the standing, the day we will stand to the Creator and answer for our faith and deeds. So those are the main things that we are looking for, and none of that has happened. None of the three things have happened. The moon is still whole. I don't see any Gog Magog on the earth, and Jesus has not returned. So let's forget about the hour coming right now. What we're looking at is the punishment coming next. And when it comes, we will all know. The sign will be that the smoke will cover mankind. It will come from the heaven the day it comes. So that's all I wanted to talk about in this session, and I hope it adds to what we've talked about earlier. And hopefully in the next broadcast, we will talk about Jesus, one of the most contentious figures today on the earth between the Christians, Jews, and Muslims, and see what the reality is that the Quran is saying about Jesus and who he is. So with that, I thank you for listening. And remember, don't say accept the truth over God. And don't say about God what not you know. Peace to all.